In this video, I'm going to talk about the basic structure of a presentation. Structure is really important when it comes to presentations because it gives the audience a clear idea about where they are. A presentation consists of three important parts, including introduction, body, and conclusion. Just like movies and stories, without those three essential parts, a presentation would not be considered complete. Let's break it down in detail. First comes the introduction. In this section, there are a few things the audience must know about you and your presentation. You should greet the audience first and let them know who you are. Sometimes you may include some of your previous experiences related to the topic. Be careful, do not introduce yourself in too much detail. This is a presentation, not a resume or interview. In terms of the content and presentation itself, first, you should tell the audience about the topic. What is it about? Topic is extremely important to the audience. It can attract the audience's attention and create interest in the presentation. Second comes the background knowledge and stories of the topic. Think of this as a prerequisite of the presentation. Is there anything the audience needs to know prior to the presentation so that they won't get lost during the process? Last, when and how will the audience ask questions if they have one? Can the audience raise their hand and ask questions during the presentation? Or will there be a Q&A section at the end of the presentation? It's important that the audience know when to ask questions for a smooth and interruption-free presentation. Here comes the longest section of a presentation. When it comes to the second part of a presentation, the body, you'll express and convey the main content in an organized way. To be persuasive and convincing, you'll provide examples, stories, or your own experiences related to the content. Providing stories and examples will help persuade your audience. Most activities during your presentation will come from this section. Sometimes you'll even provide graphics, figures, images, or charts to support your points or show the audience the statistics when it's necessary. Keep in mind, you want to convey and express the main ideas and points in an organized way. Last but not least, the most important part of a presentation is the conclusion. In this section, you may restate the important information and key points in your presentation. You may tell the audience about the important takeaway of the presentation. A great way to relate your audience and have them remember key points by showing them how the content can be used in the future. As I said before, you may or may not include a Q&A section at the end of the conclusion. However, in some cases, you may briefly introduce yourself again at the end of the presentation so the audience remembers you. Now, let's review it really quickly. Basically, you are not only greeting and introducing yourself in the introduction section, but also telling the audience the topic and background information. Remember to let the audience know how and when to ask questions to keep the presentation smooth. In the body, you will convey and express the main content, provide examples like stories or experiences. Also, provide graphics, figures, images when it's needed. In the last part, the conclusion, you will restate the key points and essential takeaways of the presentation. Sometimes, future applications would also be included in the conclusion. Alright, that's all for this video. You can now move on to the next video and explore more about presentation skills.